All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fugitive Poem Show. The art will not be changing. And I've just added Ryan, who apparently isn't on screen. So the Black's Vortex is Ryan.
He's an icon. Yeah, here we go. Where is
He
it?
will join us soon.
I'm trying. Where am
He's
I?
I hear him. There you go.
This is a man in black.
That's a start.
Kind of.
Now Christian is not saying
And Christian's muted. What a Mickey Mouse outfit this is.
Hey, I'm back. This is tonight on a very special episode of The Art Will Not Be Changing. We're going to really be celebrating the fact that the art will not be changing, because today we are launching Dirty Living in issue 1 as it was meant to be. It is beautiful. You could have it at this very moment. All you need to go to fugitivepoems.com and click Dirty Living, and you can subscribe right there. It's $2.99 every 3 months. Every 3 months, it's a brand new issue. And the first issue is present right now. Ryan didn't like that, so he left. But that helped. So I'm really excited to have with us today Stephen Beccia, even though I have to change his name on the cover. I haven't had a chance to do that yet because it's misspelled. But Stephen Beccia is the writer and, let's say, weirdo visionary. That is accurate. Behind Dirty Living. We also have James, co-founder of Fugitive Poems, James Lyons. We have Mark Capitelli, who thinks he's part of this. I like that. And then hopefully we'll have Ryan back. We might have a few other guests popping on in this little celebration, because this is indeed a launch party. Now, normally I would be drinking heavily, but I love this comic so much, I showed up even though I'm in the middle of a horrendous stomach bug. So, Mark, if I suddenly disappear, you got to play me off. You got a soft shoe. You got to do something.
Again? All right.
There you go. There's Ryan.
Ryan, welcome. Ryan Santos, the artist on Dirty Living. How you doing? Dirty Living, which dropped today. So, tell me, guys, how does it feel having your comic out in the wild?
It's great. It's a dream come true, honestly. I was thinking of that just an hour ago. I'm like, wow, this finally happened.
Yeah. I met you guys at Terrificon 2 or 3 years ago now.
Actually, you met Ryan.
Ryan, right.
And then I sent you the ash can via email. Yep. And then about a year later, it got dug out from the archives.
Yeah. I mean, we were really getting our footing for what we wanted to do as a company. And when we decided that we wanted to produce people's work as well as our own, yours was the number one thing that popped up. Ryan, because you never get the artist, the writer always does. If someone asked you to describe Dirty Living, what is it?
Yeah, well, for me, it's always been a noir kind of story. You know, I love the scary, creepy zombie stuff, but it's all about the noir. You know, the mystery, the fun. You know, the gore. All that kind of fun stuff. That's what attracted me to the story in the first place. You know, I love that whole mood.
Tom Lynott are one of our favorite letterers and human beings on the planet. The art looks freaking amazing. I read about a third of issue. So, yes, and I think that's going to be the general reaction to this book. Ryan, what was the biggest challenge for you in putting this particular, when you got the script? What was the biggest challenge for you in putting the art together?
The biggest challenge, I don't know. It was easy.
It just worked.
It felt like coming home. You know, it was like perfect for me. You know, it just felt. You know, all the characters really were easy to design. Like all the story was like just rolling off the page. So it made my job easier knowing that I was in good hands, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Stephen, how is it writing for Ryan? Do you guys You hand him the script, and then he just runs with it, or do you do a lot of back and forth?
Yeah, it's super easy. When I met Ryan, I'm like, hey, I love what you do. Check out my story. He's like, cool, I like it. All right, let's work together. It was like, what's happening right now? And no, seriously, it's like I write it, he gets it. It goes from the words to the vision. It's there, and it blows me away. I mean, Ryan, your art is just amazing.
I'll let
Thank
people know that issue 2 is already in the works, and I've read the script, and it's fantastic. So, folks, if you go get your copy of issue 1 right now, you get your subscription going. Issue 2 will appear the minute it's ready. It's going to be every 3 months. Ryan, I don't want to give anything away, but Ryan just put together a mock-up of one of the coolest covers I have ever freaking seen. Jake, you were at that Terrificon, and I brought you over. I think Ryan gave me an ash can at that point, and I brought that over to you. What struck you about the story, James?
What's the question for?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Question for
James.
Yes, sir.
What struck you? Saw that ash can. What struck you about the story?
Sorry, I thought you were asking Ryan.
No. What struck you about that ash can
You're trying to look sexy.
that made you think it had Fugitive poems written on it?
Well, the style, it's very catchy and not, how do I put this? It's not derivative. Didn't look like Ryan just sits and looks at a bunch of other people's comics and then tries to emulate them. He's really got his own style, which is what we like. I love originality. I mean, there's nothing wrong with younger people, sort of experimenting that way. But when you get to the couple of graybeards here, the graybeard age, you should really kind of have sort of found yourself or at least, get on your own path. I don't think there's ever an end to your artistic path, but that's one of the things I really liked about it. And yeah, I guess that's my answer.
I mean,
I got to say something. When you asked him before, Christian, Ryan, when he said what was the hardest part of this, and you were like, that gave us that phlegmatic, it was easy. The amount of detail that goes in, especially in the background, which is something so many artists kind of ignore, at least nowadays, is that's what really blew me away more than anything else. And I think we've talked about that before, but I mean, this really is something special, and it adds to the immersion factor. You really get into the world, and Stephen's words just kind of come alive all the more. So it was really just. I'm going to sit here and compliment you, but yeah, it was terrific, the whole thing, and it's so cool that this is out there. It's all this talking has finally become something.
We have been circling this for so long, and then planning for so long. And last night, all I could do, not to just say, "All right, I've got it up, everybody." So I actually did that. I threw out a couple of social medias. It's actually available now, even though it doesn't drop till tomorrow, because I've been so excited. This is such a killer story. I mean, you got this cop stuck with a rookie. Immediately, something goes wrong. The rookie kills this young kid, and then a crooked cop kills the rookie. And it goes, I mean, there's bloodshed right from the start, twisted morality, and then it just goes from there, ending on this supernatural hook that you have no idea where this came from. I was so excited about it, but I gotta ask. So Stephen, this came out of Stephen's mind, right? But something else came out of Stephen's mind. He told me today that I had to ask him on the show about his clown dream, and we're gonna find out what else is in Stephen.
All right.
Sounds like issue 3 is in the works.
Well, for some reason, I woke up with. All right. So picture this: Lionel Richie dressed like a clown in a lime green suit with just colorful buttons, kind of like a fiesta. He's got hair out to about this big, and it's all like that shiny, colorful orange and red and green and every color, right? And he kept going, Santos, Santos, and in my dream, and then the word storm appeared as a word in front of him, and he's going, I am the Mexican Santa Claus, Santos, Santos, and I don't know what it was about, but that was it. And I'm like, I've got to put this in somewhere at some point. But
Well, that goes in the file.
We are now going to bring to the stage my Freudian therapist, who's going to know. You know, that's actually funny that it focused on Ryan's name.
Right?
When I was a kid, I went to the Dragon's Den comic shop in Yonkers, and the guy that ran the place, the manager, was Santos, and he was my comic guru. Every week he picked up special things for me that I might not have known about on my own, and he really guided me into the world of comics to the point. And Ryan, I think about this every time I think of you, to the point where every novel that I've written, I've put a guiding character in there named Santos. So when I saw that you were the artist on this project, I was like, this is fortuitous. Now, had I known that Lionel Richie as the Mexican Santa Claus would be involved, I would have been even more involved.
I don't think anyone would be more surprised than Lionel Richie himself.
I mean,
sounds like a good premise for a serial killer.
So Tom Linus corrected me. There isn't blood from the start, but there are boobs.
Hey, you got to start with boobs, man.
Yes.
You got to set
to
the
get
tone.
to page 3 for the blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boobs and whiskey. I mean, what can
Who's
be
got
better
that kind
than
of
that?
time?
Nothing is better than boobs and whiskey.
There you go.
And I have both. Thanks for all the weight I've been gaining.
I keep that
Stephen,
Yeah.
this is there. What's your pitch for people? Tell somebody, you're talking to somebody and they're like, I got a comic out there. They could download it and have it in a second. What do you tell people it's about? How do you give it to people? Just like, dude, check this out. This
has always been my biggest problem. I can write down a damn story, but try to do the elevator pitch. But it's it's like, hey, this is a crime supernatural story thriller that you're just going to you need to strap your ass in because you're in for a ride. So
all right. Well, I'm hoping Chandler, our marketing expert, shows up. She can help us with that.
Boobs, blood, and whiskey.
Boobs, blood, and whiskey.
There's your elevator pitch.
Well, that's interesting. Is because we really are, as a company, we've really realized that our direction is Grindhouse. So much of what we're creating, and boobs, blood, and whiskey certainly fits that bill.
That's a new T-shirt. That's a new slogan. Boobs, blood, and whiskey.
There you go.
Detective Doug Kelly is a dead man, figuratively. His partner is a dead man, literally, and he just showed up for work. Absolutely love that, Mark. So we're working on issue 2. Without giving away anything, what do you foresee as some of the highlights? What's issue 2 going to bring to the series? Is going to take it to sort of the next level. You introduce a new element.
Yeah, we're introducing some. We're introducing some new shit. Well, we're gonna hit a little bit of a backstory. It's more of a continuation from issue 1, and following Doug down a path of just trying to figure out what the hell happened with because I don't want to give too much away from issue 1. But it's just kind of opening the story even more and going even deeper into the weirdness. That's how about that? Is that without saying too much? Deeper into the weirdness.
Visually,
which is exactly where we want to go.
So
visually, there's going to be more weirdness. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Doug is really thrown into a situation. And he's a guy who lives in a situation. The lead detective in Dirty Living is a guy who lives in a situation. His father's one of the head mob bosses, and he's a detective in the Boston Police Department. He's living in a complicated situation. And then all of a sudden, issue 1 happens of Dirty Living, and this whole new monkey wrench is thrown in. And having read the for issue 2, the monkey wrenches are going to keep coming, and it's so cool to watch Doug navigating this. You've got an element of that ordinary man, extraordinary situation in there, but he's not an ordinary man. He's a brilliant detective who also happens to be a wrecked drunk, and he's already got enough baggage to carry without all the stuff that's coming. And I love that. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I mean, he's the like a Jim Gordon / Bruce Wayne kind of character in my mind to some extent, and with a little bit of who knows, like Marv from Sin City or something. But,
yes, yeah, I can see that.
There's a touch of that, definitely.
But that there's some of my influences, right? Some guys that I like in comics, yeah, I mean, it's just like a regular detective. You get introduced to, I mean, crime, but drugs hit the scene, and then it's just like, okay, on top of all the other crap he's got to deal with, now he's got to deal with a new situation, but it all intertwines, and it comes together. It will come together, should I say?
Yes, yeah, and I can see it heading that way. Ryan, we got issue 1 out. Let's say you guys knock the first arc of a Dirty Living out of the park. I know you're going to do that. What would you like Stephen to write next for you? What do you want to draw? What's been out there that you have not drawn?
That's a good question.
I've drawn a little bit of everything. I love tech stuff, machinery and all that kind of stuff. That's always been an interest to me. So, anything towards steampunk or grungy kind of stuff is really, really something I love forever. So anything with rust on it, that it shows up in a lot of my backgrounds. Everything's dirty, everything's grungy. It's just
I love that.
Yeah, the weather,
and a lot of detail,
a lot of weathering, a lot of I just love the dirt. That's why I really like I love the noir, the black and the dark and all that kind of stuff. And, it just fits right in with what I like to do.
Yeah. I think originally we were kind of talking like, oh, we'll just do black and white, 'cause that would be kind of cool. But I'm so glad we went with color, I mean.
Yeah. The color absolutely brings this to life.
Yeah.
Ryan's colors are what's your coloring influence? That's actually an interesting question, Ryan, because it is vibrant even while being dark.
Yeah, the first issue, a lot of it takes place in the evening, so there's a lot of dusk, there's a lot of dark. So I try to keep my colors as subtle as I can. It's a comic, so of course there's going to be great pops of color and all that kind of stuff, but I try to keep it as realistic and muted as I can. I like to preserve those little pops of color for special things. It's important. I love that contrast between the dull and the dark to those bright colors.
Do you have a particular artist or? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Stephen.
No, I was when Ryan was talking about the steampunk kind of stuff. I was thinking about that other. Remember, Ryan? We were kind of talking back at Comic-Con in New York. I was telling you that story about the musician who gets killed by this company that secretly runs the world. And when they figure out that your time has come, they come out and they take you out in a way that looks like you killed yourself with suicide or whatever it is. And but I can't remember what we called the company or it was, I can't remember what we decided we were. Do you remember?
I believe that was Suicides Are Us. Was it that?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
No,
it's beyond
working
me.
title Gritty Zoolander.
Yeah.
That's a great concept.
The deep state.
If anybody on the
state. There it is, trademark.
Deep state. There you
go. I'm pretty sure that's the X.
All rights reserved.
That's the X-rated version of the political commentary.
Yeah, somebody probably beat us to that.
Anybody who is on right now, please throw into the comments, as Tom did, any thoughts you had on issue 1, or get it right now and give us your thoughts on it. Mark,
And how do they get it now, Christian?
Well, that's a great question. If they go to fugitivepoems.com, click right on Dirty Living, they can order right there and have it in seconds. Have it on your computer in seconds. It's one of the coolest things. This is the inaugural journey of our subscription service. And I was back and forth about it because I love having physical things, and this will end up being physical. But we also love the idea of getting something instantly, that we could say the comic is out and you could have it for very little money right now. And it's
Very little money. Very little money. Christian and I had an argument about how cheap he's giving it away for. $3.99 quarterly. Do the math, you mathematicians out there. That's like $12 a year. That's not even the price of one physical book. And we got Ryan's great art, even story. We're gonna have. Are we gonna put River up there, Christian, or are we putting Stripper Clip up there?
River is going to be available via digital download or physical.
We're not putting that on the subscription.
No, I'm thinking Folklore will be our next subscription, but we have to figure that out. We've got a couple of things going because Stripper Clip I think is going to be physical. We're really in these cool planning stages, and having Ryan and Stephen aboard is so exciting, especially as our first subscription service, which is great.
Yeah. And they're screwed now because now that we got our claws in them, we're gonna hit them up
we're,
for more books.
we're number one.
We're number one.
Yeah, guys, it's cool. It's very cool, man.
Christian, I'm texting you. I'm messaging you. You got any artwork?
Yes.
Let's jump in and stop looking at all 5 of our ugly faces and
I don't know. I thought this was
start looking at some artwork.
I beg your pardon.
Well, why don't you guys talk while I do that?
Well, what fun would that be? No, we're all about that.
As I was saying, $2.99 for 3 months. I mean, that's an amazing deal.
Yeah, jump on it now. We're going to jack up the prices as soon as
help support us. Help this thing get going, so we can get lots of artists out there and not only pay them but get their vision out.
Yeah, I mean, this is what it's all about.
Yeah, I'd love for everybody to see it. It's a lot of work, but
we're trying to push the boundaries here. We're not doing stuff that's been done. We're not doing Dynamite Comics where stuff's rehashed 3,000 times and they put a cool cover on it and then garbage on the inside. And then we're not doing the 47th iteration of Spider-Man. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We're trying to push creative boundaries here. We're talking about things that people have never seen before, never done before. There's no story out there that hasn't been told already. But by the same token, the world really needs some vision, some new stuff that people can look at. I think there's a lot of it in television. Television has been a very exciting medium again, and by television I mean pay-per-view. Netflix and so forth, paying out big money for people who are putting out some really incredible stuff. I think
Netflix, we are available. Reach out to us, please.
Let's get Doug on Netflix.
I think there are other mediums that need to really catch up, and this is one of them. We really need new stuff out there. I mean, look at this guy.
Absolutely, the art is amazing. So if you go right now to fugitivepoems.com and you click to subscribe, you are going to get very quickly to this issue right on your screen, beautifully presented. And as you can see, here are the folks to cover your children's eyes. Here are the tools in whiskey that start this amazing. I've got the word fiesta in my head from Stephen's dream. Amazing fiesta going.
Fiesta.
So beautiful, absolutely beautiful stuff.
Did Tom's comment come up yet? Did I miss that? He was saying how the colors on page 3 look amazing. Maybe we should take a look at page 3.
Yeah, we shall. Let me ask you, Ryan, what kind of research do you do when you get a page like this to draw?
Well, for this page, it's mostly just kind of architecture. Like I got to make a floor plan to kind of know where everything goes, make sure people can fit in there, and try to make
Got
it
it.
pleasing to the page. I really got to make it work for the page. So, there's a little tomfoolery with some of the perspective and stuff, but no one will notice. Don't
Got
call
it.
me out on it.
I think, Ryan, that's a real interesting thing to talk about as comic book artists, is that layout, the ground layout. I know I often have to school Christian a bit on about, this will happen in here and then this happens over here. And it was funny when we were working on River originally, I was like, do you realize that you've actually brought them right back to where they were at the beginning? So they'll be standing over all these other bodies. And he's like, no, I never thought of that. So it's kind of interesting, the spatial stuff that you have to do with comics that other people don't really have to think about. The writers will just sit and they'll write something out, but then you have to figure out the logistics of where it works, particularly with the interior, right? Like a bar or something. In my case, it was like this futuristic factory. We had to figure out I had to figure out where all this stuff was going.
Oh yeah, it's very important to like get a sense of space and like where everything is. Establishing shots, all that kind of stuff is really important. Like this establishing shot here, it's just like gives you the whole world. This is the neighborhood. That's all you really need to start. But then when you have cars moving around, people walking, a woman over here, a car over there, it gets more complicated. So you have to try to keep the logic together, like which way the car is directed and which way people are facing.
This is the page that Tom Lynott said your colors were absolutely beautiful on. And I think that you do some incredible shuffling here of location. But I do want to show possibly, we open up with that shot in the strip joint, possibly the sexiest person in this entire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there she is.
When I got your pencils, I stopped fucking dead in my tracks. I'm like, what?
This lady was an afterthought.
That's fun.
What do you mean, Stephen?
She was an afterthought. I was just like writing out the scene, and I was doing something. I said, you know what? I got to add some more people into here. So I put her in there, and Ryan just went away with it. It's fucking great. I love it.
And I love that she's walking her dog on the post box and just kind of looking at us like, what? What are you going to do about it?
Because if you're in New England, this shit happens. It really does. You have an old lady walking her dog, the dog's pissing on a mailbox, and she's staring at you like you're in the wrong place, mister.
Like you got some nerve.
I was just gonna say, this looks like Boston or something in 1983, right? Let's say you could see that woman anywhere on one of these streets.
Absolutely.
I love the cars. Always taken with your cars, and now that I know that you want to draw rusty machinery, it makes sense to me. But I am. Oh, look at that! Is that your model?
It is. That's that car.
Oh, nice.
That's my model for that police car. There it is.
Hey,
hold
on.
Awesome. Wait, hold it up again.
Oh, okay.
Hold it up again. There you go. Look at that. Very cool. So you use that. Do you have to work with perspective a lot in drawing how cars move and all that? How do you figure out all those angles? You've got one shot of Doug driving on the bridge, and I was really taken with how you put him in space. Let's see if I can bring that up.
Yeah, well, space is just, the perspective. It's all kind of learned over years of, trial and error. It's just, something you get used to doing.
Not everyone.
Cars in front of each other, not everyone. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing all the stuff I got to go to get through that shot. Hold on, trying not to give away too much. This is the shot I'm thinking about. I love the cars on this bridge.
And I know I'm sounding like a broken record salesman here, but how much are we charging for that? Look at that.
Yeah.
Like, this is high quality stuff.
You guys are really making me
available
down by
at a
decision
nice,
here.
reasonable price because Christian's incompetent.
go.
No, because I mean, this is our inaugural run where this is the kind of level of quality people can expect. We're passionate about this. We demand this. And even if it's, not quite this, if it's something different, a different style, this is what you're going to get for that price. And so again, folks, please jump in and support us while we're getting it off the ground, and we'll deliver.
I'm not going any further on these pages.
Christian, go back up.
Yeah, dude, you're making it free now.
I'm covering it. I'm covering it with my hand. It doesn't work for everybody else. But go back up to go back to the bridge.
Oh, okay. Has anybody seen the bridge?
Like Zeppelin.
Has anybody seen the bridge?
Where's that
confounded bridge?
There's the Mystic River. That's the dirty water right there. And rightfully so. But it's been a thing in my entire life, like living in New England and going over the Tobin Bridge so many times. And like seeing this shot, I mean this came right out of the first, the ash can. Well, this is a different perspective now, but there's the same kind of this rest in peace work was in the original ash can, and it's just a cool scene for me. It's just like Doug is just like, he feels bad about his partner and getting rid of that dirty gun, and he's I don't know. For me, it's like, yep, that's kind of like he's just just kind of sending off his partner,
It's so gritty and dirty. Like it's got that city dirt on it, and the subdued, desaturated palette just like brings it right through. Got that dull palette. What's the name of that bridge, Stephen?
That's the Tobin Bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like something out of a fantasy novel.
Yeah.
Must cross Tobin's Bridge.
Into the Mystic. Into the Mystic.
A couple famous things that happened on there. The famous suicides. Who was that guy that jumped off the bridge?
Oh yeah. Can't remember his name. He killed his wife or whatever it was. That one.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah. But the Tobin is pretty famous in Boston. Everybody knows it. You can't miss it. It's big and green.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Charles Stewart. Is that who you're thinking of?
It's pretty big.
Wait, say that again.
Charles Stewart. Is that who you're thinking about?
Oh yeah, Stewart. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is that
there you
when
go.
they put the scene under? Have you seen the new? Well, it's not new, but the remake of War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise.
Oh
Yeah.
Is that the bridge they put him under in all those scenes?
Oh,
no, that's
yeah.
New
It
Jersey.
does end in Boston. That's right. It does end.
Yeah,
in Boston.
when the clouds first start coming in and so forth, he's in like sort of a apartment underneath a big green bridge. I'm wondering if it's the same one.
I'm not positive of that. I know that they end in Boston, but
you didn't know there was going to be a quiz, did you?
But it's the same idea, It's just like some old structure. It's run down. They're always working on it. Part of the way I draw, especially like a lot of these scenes, these city scenes, is I very rarely use a ruler. Like a lot of my lines have a little wiggle to them, which I like.
I love that.
It's too neat,
Yeah.
So I have to struggle to make it as straight as I can. But it just adds to the atmosphere and to the grit.
Yeah, there's a feel to the city that absolutely comes across that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big part of the grit factor, I think.
Hey, without going through the whole comic, Christian, maybe you can pull up the picture of you already had it up. It's the one where our sexy stalker is outside of Doug's window. That big panoramic.
Standing on the rooftop.
Yeah, standing on the rooftop.
Yeah. Hold on. That's great. She came out of.
That's one of my favorite shots. Ryan, I mean, just unbelievable.
This page?
No.
Rashad.
No, the one where she's standing with the binoculars across the street.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes.
The one
Don't
with the
scroll
Easter
through the
eggs.
whole
in it.
issue now.
I happen to love that lower frame where she's looking down. I think she's absolutely beautiful there. But let's get that. I know exactly which frame you're talking about.
Yeah, I think we used that for an advertisement at one.
We
at
did.
one
We
point.
did. They put the
Yeah.
art will not be changing on it.
Oh yeah.
Ah, there it is. Woo! Good thing I didn't scroll. It's way down.
Yeah.
Giving away everything.
Giving away now.
No. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I love
Beautiful.
that.
Yeah.
It's such a great shot.
Yeah. So what was in the script there, Ryan? What was the description of that frame in the script? Was it just she's
I think it
looking
was
over?
just like standing across this, on the roof of the building across the street, looking through binoculars at Doug's window or whatever. That was probably about it, maybe. So it's just like this was done early. The colors were done early, just because we wanted to get it done for that promo thing. But
Yeah.
this kind of it really kind of gave the rest of the book its kind of color palette. A lot of the evening shots with this pink and purple and these yellow lights. But again, it's just basic geometry, putting down buildings and kind of laying out the neighborhood. Like Doug's front door is on the other side of the street, like on the next block. This is like the back of the building. That was kind of my input. Because he's far, I can't point at it. But it's just, again, it's just like a playing with the neighborhood. All the buildings are a little crooked and dirty.
James is 100%. James 100% right. If I wrote this, it'd be like, yeah, we're looking in his back window. It could be his front window too. It might be around the corner. I don't know. Just back window. I pay no attention to these details.
Hey, is the triple X in the top left corner intentional, Ryan?
Is the what?
The triple X in the top left corner intentional under the sign?
Oh yeah, look at
under
that.
the sign. Oh,
That's
no. No, not really. Wasn't.
Okay,
So
I love it.
One of the most wonderful people we've worked with on the Containment Breach series and at the Comic Jam, Kenneth Beardsley, has just popped on. He has a new book which is on Kickstarter called Weird Stories. If you go to Kickstarter and go to Weird Stories, click Notify Me on launch. It's Kenneth's dream project. He's finally launching. And he just wrote here, love looking at people's backgrounds. Christian and James are tied number one. Then Ryan, Stephen, and Mark, I'm bored. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Yeah, mine's boring too. Oh, they got it. Mark, you're boring as back. Your background.
Yes, my background is boring. I have an amazing little Nemo book behind me that I thought would show up in camera. It does not. But yeah, I'm a little too far away. Not a great setup. I'll get a green screen and talk to you from Mars next time or something.
I have this beautiful guitar decanter filled with whiskey,
Ooh.
but it didn't show up.
There you go.
But
Kenneth was actually one of the first people to get our issue when it dropped. So thank you, Kenneth, for getting
No,
Damon. I'm so sorry. What the heck is it called?
thank you.
I told you I wasn't feeling well. Dirty Living #1, who's Kenneth was one of the first people to get it, and very, very grateful for that. This shot, this whole page is so beautiful.
But beat a whale to death.
Oh,
Sorry.
there's a softness to it though that says something about this entering character, which is interesting. That there's a different vibe, and she's going to be tough and gritty too, but there's a slightly different vibe with where she's coming from, and you get a sense of that when you scroll down a little bit. And I'll just give this much, where she has a history.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I totally tried to avoid making her a busty beautiful comic book woman with the big boobs and the perfect face and the flowing hair and all that kind of stuff.
I haven't forgiven you.
She has
yet
a
for
lot
that,
of
by
weight
the
to
way.
her, so I wanted to make sure. Okay, you go back to the bar page, and then you'll be okay. But yeah, she's a little different. She's not. Yeah,
But you did that. You really
she's a
did a
real
great job
person.
with that.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to keep her
I-
as a real person. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can feel that she doesn't quite belong in this world, and that maybe this world has really hurt her. And she's trying to fit into it now to play some sort of a part, but it's just not her. I really was so impressed with that. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
And the best part about your character designs are those choices that you make. The jaw's not quite right. The nose has been punched too many times. There's
Yes.
a lot of character in your characters, and it's a feast for the eyes and the imagination. So
yeah. Sometimes it hurts my soul when I see all these superheroes and characters that are perfectly symmetrical and just they sit flat and are boring to me.
Yeah.
So everybody's a little crooked purposely, or
you must
maybe
you
I
must
can't
be
draw
looking forward to
straight,
Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern. Then.
Um,
You're gonna have some real interesting
the flawed
faces and characters. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think some of that's a byproduct of Marvel and DC. You don't need to be perfect to be freaking cool. I think especially a lot of young people they look at Marvel stuff and a lot of it's bang on. It's like it's beautiful, but it sort of rides the same wave that I think 3D did. I went through the whole 3D wave of movies and so forth, and we started off with real simplified stuff from Pixar, and not the modern Pixar, but the innovators that really kind of started the whole 3D thing. And then there was this march towards perfection, making a photorealistic human, and they kind of arrived at that at one point. I can't remember what year it was, but they made a Final Fantasy VII movie, and the models were like photorealistic, but when you tried to animate them, they actually looked like they were kind of scary automatons.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing with comics. We've gone through this like scale. We've gone from R. Crumb and all that beautiful artwork that Crumb never was interested in reality, right? I was just watching what's the name of that movie with the cat, Felix the Cat. I mean, this stuff is just crazy in there. And he didn't care about the reality of it, and I think that's part of the magic, not only of movies. All of my teachers when I was in Pratt and so forth, looking for movies, like if you could do it with they always said if you can do it with a camera, then you can do it with a camera. You can get actors to do it. Animation, or in this case, comics. It's all about pushing those magical boundaries, right? You're trying to draw things that people can't see and what people might see in their dreams, and like the clown Lionel Richie with draw him normal.
Yes, forever.
What's that? What's that all about? It's all about kind of pushing those boundaries, and I really think that comics have gotten away from that. That there's this style, and granted, there's a lot of artists out there that I'm just like, wow, I could never do that. Just some of the amazing work, but it's kind of already been done a million times, and it's fun to look at. But do you really want to see that? I think indie comics and Fugitive Poems, of course, we're trying to push those boundaries, and you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to. You do have to have skills and so forth. And of course, Ryan has lots of that, and Stephen has lots of that. But you don't necessarily have to you don't have to emulate Marvel style to get stories out, and get.
And I
really,
think also. Oh,
no, go ahead.
I was going to say the fact that we're not 20-year-olds, I think also plays into it. The fact
Speak
that
for yourself.
the there comes a point where you get tired of watching someone leap 20 feet into the air, and you just kind of want to see what a real person would do in a situation. Even if you bring in a fantastic element like the undead or something like that, that grounding in reality, I think, is what really brings that important element in, because there is so much more at risk and at stake, and so much more that we can relate to. Is you start to, when you're watching somebody run around and all they've got is a gun and everybody else does too, and there's a lot more of them than you kind of have that moment where you're like, geez, this is not a good situation. This is, if it's Batman, you're like, oh, Batman will beat the hell out of him. If it's a superhero, they've got that advantage. The everyman, like Doug and other characters that we're dealing with in the future, it's just so much more engaging and interesting when there's so much more at risk and there's so much more at stake.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that is missing nowadays. Like you were saying, James, the marvelization of everything is, these flawless people with these unbelievable skills, and you never once even court the idea that they may fail.
Well, I mean, that's one of the great things here is that Doug has no advantages.
None.
He's clearly intelligent, but he's also drinking himself into a stupor. He's hungover. He's fucked up in every way. Yep. And all of a sudden, something has happened that is completely beyond his comprehension. He has no preparation for this. It's not part of the world that he has previously existed in. So, Mark, I love this description that somebody's been punched in the nose too many times. That is the art style, and it is the character style. Doug just had his ass handed to him by a new reality, and we're going to have to watch him navigate this. And we have no idea how he is going to make it, if he's going to make it. There are no guarantees for Doug.
Right.
Because he is in a whole new world, and he is ill-equipped and hungover.
And that's your character design also, Ryan, is just the fact that there's so many things like how many I keep going back to Batman for some reason. How many times has Batman been punched in the face, but he looks exactly the same and perfectly fine in every issue? Whereas guy gets his ass handed to him once and he ain't pretty no more. He's never gonna he looks like a prize fighter, and that's always going to be the way. And it's going to get worse and worse probably with time.
Takes
and
us
it
right
gives
back
so
to Mark.
much. Yeah, it's just saying it gives so much more depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like. Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
Okay, I think Doug really shows his mileage. He's like a well-worn boxer. He's perfect at his job. He knows what he needs to do in his little box of the universe. He's cool, calm, and collected all the time. So he's just going through the motions. But then when this new situation comes that he has no idea what to do, then he can panic. So he has to be a competent person, or he'll just be out of his mind all the time, So he's a cool character all the time until he's not.
Right, and you and Stephen have given him no time to think, no time to process these major new events. And this is something Stephen and I talked about when he had written issue 1. I told him one of the things I absolutely love about this is that this isn't a story where the undead are part of the world. This isn't a zombie story. This isn't a horror story. This is a perfectly normal world like you and I would exist in. And then one day, this motherfucker comes back to life as a zombie. And Doug is like, there's no one around who would understand it. This is a new element in this world. And Doug has to deal with it on the fly. And that's one of the coolest things that you guys have done. And you really, I'm a big H.P. Lovecraft fan, and there is a level of mysticism to your magic drawings What do we got? What's up there? I can't see.
Oh, okay.
Is that Cthulhu?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Cthulhu.
I had that exact one. I gave it to my son. I had that exact one.
There you go.
There's
Yeah.
the final shot, which I will not show. The final shot of this issue has some cosmic fuckery going on, which I think Lovecraft would be proud of. It's beautifully, beautifully drawn, and it's absolutely at odds with the noir world that Doug lives in. And
Yeah,
you
Doug is
end the
totally
issue-
blindsided. He's
Yes!
blindsided by all of that. He knows how to navigate the mob scene. He could navigate the crooked cops and his boss, but this is something that he has no experience with. So this is the time for him to be, crystal clear and know exactly what he has to do, but he doesn't because he's wasted.
Yeah, exactly right. Stephen, hell of a creation, man.
Thanks, man. Ryan brought it to life. He's like this is like Frankenstein, right? But it's quite amazing to see it come alive on the pages. Without sounding like conceited or anything, but I just knew it was a good story, and I just wanted it to get out there but having Ryan be such an amazing artist and say, okay, cool, I'm on board, and then we were just, it was like, it was really good to work together and to see it come to life. It's a dream come true. It really is. And
you guys need to keep working together because you really you jive.
Yeah,
for sure.
It works.
You said I don't want to sound conceited, but I knew it was a good story. That's actually a huge statement from an artist, because most of the times we think what we did sucks. And when you can actually say, no, I think I've got something here, that's awesome. And you knew that, and you followed it through, and you gave it to Ryan, and this beautiful thing fucking exists in the world right now, because you can go to fugitivepoems.com, click on Dirty Living, and have this motherfucker on your computer screen or your phone screen right fucking now. It can happen instantly. It could be that easy, just like that. It could be in your belly.
A cup of coffee
For the price.
How much is a cup of Starbucks now? $6?
Absolutely.
Yeah, $5.99.
Yeah, you can have like 6 months of like gorgeousness there. Less than the price of Starbucks. Fuck
Every
Starbucks.
3 months, a new issue of Dirty Living is
go.
going to come out. Every 3 months, you'll be charged $2.99 for the next issue, and it's available to you. You have it instantly. Go right now, fugitivepoems.com. Click on Dirty Living and get yourself a copy. You're gonna be so glad you. And so James and I, as is our gig, we're usually humping our own work, and it's one thing when somebody's telling you, "Yeah, you should see my work. It's awesome," and buy it. And that's what you got to do as an artist, to promote yourself. But I'm telling you, we came to Dirty Living as fans. And Stephen and Ryan have made something absolutely amazing. There's not many people that I'd come on camera during a stomach virus just because I want to celebrate how awesome they are. And I would do that for this incredible work of Ryan and Stephen. Dirty Living is such a good story. You're going to be knocked on your ass by it. You're going to laugh. You're going to be grossed out occasionally. Boobs, whiskey, and blood. It's got everything.
In one of those orders.
There you go.
And the swag is coming out soon. Boobs, whiskey, and blood. I love it. Actually, I think boobs, blood, and whiskey. Right?
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
That's it.
The Fugitive Poems way.
Oh man, it
We
really
got
is
blankets.
something.
We got throw pillows. I'll give this promise right now on our subscription service. We're not going to settle for second best on anything. Christian made a point that this is not our artwork, but this is definitely a fugitive poem. These guys are, we've been using the term fellow fugitive. We're not going to give that out to just anyone who will give us artwork. These guys have really produced for us and made some amazing stuff, and I'm proud to call this a fugitive poem. It's it's right there, $2.99. Oh, Tom just said boobs, blood, and bourbon. There you go. Now that
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
There you go.
That's great.
The 3 B's.
just Tom,
I
these
do
guys
want-
give me a really hard time if I don't put commas in between. Both these guys.
Tom
Hey,
Lynett is currently lettering our next Grindhouse release, a one-shot called Blood Valkyrie in Vegas, which is drawn by Alex Zapata, flatted by Doug Wood, and lettered by Tom Lynett. And you want to talk about blood, boobs, and bourbon. Oh, my Lord. This thing is going to have an NC-17 rating on it. It is violent and brutal and full of nudity and wildness. Imagine an orgy gone wrong with demons involved. And that's basically the premise. So Tom's going to be doing a lot of boobs, blood, and bourbon lettering as well. And this is Fugitive Poems, guys. We got a Grindhouse soul, and we're putting out this wild, violent, fun, gritty, hysterical, darkly funny stuff. And we're real proud of Stephen and Ryan for putting out this first issue. Go to fugitivepoems.com. Go to fugitivepoems.com. Go to fugitivepoems.com. Click Dirty Living, and you could have it immediately. Folks, thank you so much for watching. Stephen, Ryan, congratulations to your launch party. Next time we'll do it in person so that we can get all liquored up and shoot at anything that moves.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate everything that you guys have done for us. So we appreciate
we are honored to work with you.
It's a pleasure.
Here's to Dirty Living.
Dirty Living.
There
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Dirty living. Clink, clink, clink.
Clink, clink, clink.
Folks, go to fugitivepoems.com. Click on Dirty Living, and you can subscribe in seconds and be reading a comic right now. We are Fugitive Poems. We make comics. Like this video. Subscribe to this video. Do all the things, the dirty, nasty things that people are supposed to do to these YouTube videos. Because I never remember what they are. But
click the bell. It does something.
Yeah, hit the
There
bell.
you go. Like and subscribe.
Like,
subscribe. And just
Smash that like button.
Pin the tail on the donkey.
Good night, folks. It's been a pleasure. And we will see you in the next episode of The Art Will Not Be Changing.
peace out.